Hello and welcome to your practice. So this week I was thinking about what kind of practice I would like to do, and I've been feeling like my nervous system is like all over the place, a little bit of high vata. And I thought that a nice vata pacifying practice would be a really nice thing to do, because I'm sure I'm not the only person who feels like this from time to time. And I've really been feeling a little bit of a sense of overwhelm of the amount of things that need to be done as we move into spring planting season and busy retreat season and whatnot. And oh, a butterfly just landed. So anyway, today's practice is going to be a very calming practice. And it's really about bringing the nervous system down, about rooting and grounding. And with, whenever you have something stressful going on in your life, this is a great practice. Or if you're just feeling really scattered or overwhelmed, this is a really good practice to do. And so I hope you enjoy this. It's also a really nice practice to do before you go to bed if you have trouble sleeping. And so let's go ahead and get started lying on your back with knees bent and feet grounded on your mat, on the floor, on the earth, whatever you're laying on, and just letting the knees drop into one another. So feet grounded, knees can drop in. If you rather, you can also straighten your legs if that just feels better for you. But this can be a very nourishing feeling or sensation in the body and in the nervous system. And then bring one hand to your low belly and one hand to your heart. I'm just trying to not hit my microphone. And just lying like this, begin to feel those contact points of your body with that surface beneath you, whether it's the floor, your yoga mat, the earth if you're practicing outside as I am. And just feel all those parts of your body that are connected to that solid surface, that stability beneath you. And then bringing yourself into the body, bringing the mind into the body by connecting with the breath and bringing your awareness to the breath without really changing the breath at this point, but just noticing the inhale and the exhale and how the body moves as you inhale and how the body moves as you exhale. Feeling those undulations in the belly, the chest, the ribs. And begin to feel that rhythm. And if you are practicing outdoors, maybe you can even begin to connect the rhythm of your breath to the rhythm of nature around you. It's a bit of a breezy day where I am recording this in the circle of trees. And the wind goes in cycles where it's calm, as though the bottom of the exhale. And then the wind, I can hear it begin to rise, as though the earth is inhaling. And then it'll pause again. And then slowly the exhale as the wind picks up again. And imagine your breath like the breeze in the outdoors. And imagine that sound of the breeze of your breath through the branches of the trees. And that gentle, soothing sound that it makes. Perhaps you can even hear your own breath as you inhale and as you exhale. So bringing awareness to the breath not only in the undulations of the body, but also the sound of the body. without really connecting with ujjayi breath, just the gentle, soft sounds of your breath. And then we're going to begin the practice of a Viloma breath, or three-part breath, starting with the belly and moving up through the ribs and to the upper chest. So as you inhale, begin your inhale in just the belly, feel your hand begin to expand. And just a gentle pause, and then move your awareness to the center, the side ribs, as you continue your inhale. And then bringing the inhale all the way up to the upper chest. Take a gentle pause at the top of the inhale, and then nice, slow exhale all the way out. So continue like this with your breath, without strain or effort, just allowing the belly to fill with breath, and a gentle pause before you move to the midsection of the rib cage, expanding in all four directions, and pause, and then moving into the upper chest. And pause, and a nice, slow, relaxing exhale, everything all the way out. Continue with that breath, three-part breath, belly, all four directions of the side ribs and the upper chest, with a gentle pause in between each. And one long, slow exhale, all the way out. Continue with your pace of breath, again without strain, without creating tension anywhere in your body. Just breaking the breath down into these three parts, breaking your inhale into three parts. And a smooth, complete exhale. Let's do 3 more rounds like that, at your own pace. Allowing the body to soften into your mat, into the solid surface beneath you as you continue. As you get to the end of your exhale on your last of those 3 breaths, just release that, let that go. Don't rush it. When you get there, just let it go. And with hand on chest and belly, just feel your normal rhythm of breath here. And then draw your knees into your chest. You can wrap your arms around. You might rock from side to side. But as you draw the knees in, just feel that gentle pressure of the thighs against the belly, helping stimulate the digestive system. And release a little bit of tension in the hips, where we often can hold tension when we are stressed. And then from here, bring your hands to your kneecaps. So your palms just resting on your kneecaps. And as you inhale, draw the knees away, straighten your arms completely. And then as you exhale, begin to bend the elbows and draw the thighs back into the belly. And so your arms are doing the work here. The legs are just going along for the ride. The inhale breath, we press the knees and the thighs away from the torso. And the exhale breath, we allow the thighs to help expel all of the air. And just continue with your breath, this nice slow breath in this manner, in this fashion. Really slowing down the breath and linking it to this movement, gentle movements of the body, helps us to come into the present moment and get out of our head, of our thoughts, of our worry, of our tension, anxiety, whatever you might be dealing with that's causing your vata to be high or your nervous system to be feeling like it's vibrating. Let's do 2 more rounds just like this. And as you exhale all the air out on this last breath, you can bring your hands, your arms to give yourself a hug and rock from side to side. And then we're going to roll so that our knees come over to the left side. And we're actually going to bring your hands, I hope I'm not out of frame here. We're going to bring your hands to stack one on top of the other. So we're laying on our left side, left shoulder. And then we're going to begin to slide that right hand, which is your top hand, begin to slide that hand along your arm, bending the elbow as you come across your chest, and then just let it unfold out into a twist. So we're just going to stay here in this gentle twist, relieving any tension in the side body. And if you are holding tension of frustration in the side body, you will feel that in this position here. And find your belly breath. Feel that surface beneath you here in this position as well. Let your shoulders soften in the back of the head, soften, let go of tension in your neck. And then that right arm, begin to bend your elbow so that your right hand comes to your shoulder and slide that hand along the chest the same way we arrived in that position along your arm. And then we're simply going to roll onto our back. If you need to adjust your position at all, go ahead and do so. Otherwise, just rock and roll from side to side, and then we're going to roll right. So roll over to the right, extend your arm straight out in front of you, and slide that left hand across your bottom arm, across your chest, and just let it unfurl onto the floor, coming into your supine twist. Remaining there. In your twist on your second side. Breathing into the belly, consciously bringing awareness to the shoulders and the neck and the back of the head. And letting those body parts soften. Taking one more breath here. Then begin to bend the left elbow and bring the left palm to the left shoulder. Slide that hand across the chest, all the way across your arm to your palm, and then roll back onto your back. Rock from side to side as you give yourself a hug. And then bringing both hands to your kneecaps, let's begin to circle the knees again. And just go nice and slow, go in both directions. And then roll to either side, whichever side you prefer. And we're just going to make our way up into tabletop. So finding your tabletop, we're just going to start with a few rounds of cat-cow. And we're going to go really slow, like we're doing it one vertebra at a time. So as you inhale, allow the tail to begin to reach up to the sky and let the head be the last thing to come up. And then as you begin your exhale, begin at the tailbone and begin to draw the belly in and curl the spine up all the way up the upper back and let the head drop last. And just nice, slow cat-cows here. Let's do 5 of these slow ones. And sometimes moving slow can be really difficult for some of us, especially some of us that are high vata. The slowing down can be really hard because vata is air and ether, and it's all about movement and creativity and being on the go all the time, which is something that our society, our culture has taught us to value, and being slow and being still, we have equated with laziness. So slowing down can be really hard for many of us. So let's do 2 more cat-cows like this. And you can begin to connect with your ujjayi breath here. And even though this is very simple, slow movements, begins to build heat by movement of the spine. So now just staying in your tabletop, just bend the knees so the shins and toes lift up. And then we're going to twist over to our left. So our toes are going to move, over to the right. Toes are going to move over to the right, and we're going to look towards our right side. And then coming back to center as we inhale, and doing the same to the left. Your shins and feet move left, and you look left over your left shoulder. And just moving side to side, nice and slow here. Again, we're getting into that side body that can create a lot of tension when we're anxious and when we're stressed and when we're frustrated and when we're overwhelmed. Let's do 1 more to each side. And actually, let's end on the left side because we started on the right. And then come back to center. Take a moment's pause here in center. And then extending the right leg straight out behind you, nice and tall. We're simply going to bend that right knee and step that foot up on the outside of our hand, so on the outside edge of the mat. Sorry, I just have to adjust a little bit because I'm in the crack of my mat here. And so from here, hands can be on blocks or hands can be fingertips or flat on your mat. We're just going to start to make circles. Just making little circles here. Whoops. Keep moving with your circles. Your circles might be big. They might come far out to the side. There's just some gliding and sliding in the hips and the hip flexors and the outer hips. And make sure that you're going in both ways, in both directions. And then we're going to come into a gentle twist. So your right hand can come to your right hip, and your left hand can come out to the outside of that left knee. You might come to your forearm, and we're just twisting to the right. Nice inhale breath, nice exhale breath. And then hands come back down to the mat. Curl the back toes under, lift the back knee. We're going to step the left foot, the back foot forward, wide on our mat as well. And you might take a couple of steps to get that foot up. And let your toes point out. We're coming into Malasana. And so we begin to bend the knees. Now you might have blocks here so that you can sit on blocks, or you might have something under your heels, a rolled up blanket or a towel. And if this is as far as you go, then just keep your fingertips on the floor. If you're able to come all the way down, as I say, you might sit on blocks. You can bring your hands together at your heart center and your elbows into your knees. And we'll just pause here for a few breaths. You can even close your eyes here for a couple of breaths. And then bringing the hands down, we begin to lift the hips, and we're going to step it back into tabletop. And we're going to get ready for our second side. So let's extend the left leg straight out behind us. And then we're going to step that left foot wide on our mat on the outside of that left hand. And then we're just going to start those hip circles here. Go both ways. Just some sliding and gliding action, whatever feels organic and good for you. And then coming back to your center, we're going to move into a really gentle twist. So that left hand can come to the left hip. The right hand can come to the knee, forearm to the knee, and begin to twist to your left. And try to keep the spine nice and long, and your gaze towards the floor, towards the ground, to help us stay grounded, because we're looking to calm the nervous system here. We're not working with uplifting energy, which is already what happens with vata. We're looking to calm everything down. And then untwist, both hands come down, curl the back toes under, lift the back knee, and we're going to step forward wide for malasana a second time. And again, if you have to step a couple of times, that's all good. And then lowering the hips as far as appropriate for you. And if your hips are up, you can have your hands on blocks or on the floor. You can have blocks under your seat. And just pause with your breath here again. One more breath here. And then hands come down. And we slowly begin to lift the hips up, coming into Uttanasana, walking the feet in a little bit so that they're hip width. And bending your knees as much as you need to so that your belly can rest on the thighs. And so this belly on the thighs on the belly, again gives us that digestive support with pressure to the digestive organs. Let your head be free here. And then slowly begin to lift, halfway lift, extending through the crown and through the sit bones. Hands might be at your shins. And exhale, slowly bow down. And we're going to rise up nice and slow, pressing into the feet. We're coming all the way up, circling the arms wide and drawing into your heart center, rooting down, grounding down in our mountain pose. Taking a couple of breaths here and just feeling into the feet. And let's begin to rock from side to side and really feel into our feet. And then let's begin to give a little bounce and really ground down. This is a really easy way to feel grounded and feel into the feet. Last week we were talking about marma points in the center of your feet. So bring your awareness to that spot in the center of your foot as you ground down and connect with that earth energy, that stability. And then spreading the feet energetically apart, knees almost straight, but not quite straight. We're going to do a little variation of a flow, and it's a really nice variation when you're really tired or your nervous system just doesn't need any more pushing. Let's inhale and reach up to the sky. And as we exhale, fold forward and bend your knees as much as you need to. Inhale, lift halfway. And as we exhale, we're going to step back into plank pose. And so our plank, if you want to hold full plank a little longer, if you feel like you need to feel that strength and stability in your body to feel more grounded, do so. Otherwise, we're going to drop the knees into a low plank or a half plank. And just pause here and feel into the stability as you press all 10 fingerprint pads into the earth. And you can have your toes curled under or flatten the tops of the feet down into the mat here. Feel your belly button draw in towards your spine. And then from here, we're just going to press back into child's pose. So I'm not really even needing to move my hands. My hands are still in the same spot. They're still grounded. And then I'm going to rise up into cow pose. Curling the toes under, and the exhale, we come into downward facing dog. Again, in your downward facing dog, just feel into that groundedness through the feet and the hands. And let's inhale the right foot up to the sky in three-legged dog. And as we exhale, we're going to step that foot up between your hands. And if you need to lower your back knee in order to get it up there, go ahead and lower that knee, because we're all going to meet there anyway. So as you step that foot up, we're going to come into low lunge. And before we rise up in our low lunge, and you're fine to stay here as well, really feel down and press down, root down as we begin to rise up. And keep your gaze just to the horizon, not looking up to the sky, so we remain with that grounded feeling, that groundedness in our posture. And then release your right hand to your right hip and begin to side bend over to the right. So right leg is forward and we're side bending over to the right. Nice breath here, but spine is long. And then from here, we're going to begin to move to a twist. So you can gently release that right hand to the outside of your knee and begin to twist to your right. One more breath here. And then we unwind, release the hands down to the mat. And we're going to lift the back knee, stepping back into your downward facing dog, coming forward to plank pose. Again, these are these modified or variations of a sun salutation I was talking about. We lower the knees, half plank, really lift up through the shoulders and press into all 10 fingerprint pads. Press the tops of your feet down into the mat in your half plank. So again, we're really working with the grounding and stability, but we're not overtaxing the nervous system. We're not looking to build a sweat here. We're being kind to our body. And then keeping the hands where you are, begin to send the hips back to the heels, coming into child's pose. And if you can, keep your knees closer together so we have that pressure once again on the belly with the thighs for our digestive system. Do so. If it doesn't work for you, you need to part your knees a little bit. That's okay too. And then your next inhale, we come up cow pose. And then the exhale, we curl the toes under, downward facing dog. And then we're moving straight into three-legged dog with your left leg floating up. And then as we exhale, we're stepping that foot up between the hands. Remember, you can lower that back knee to get that foot up there, because we're all going to lower that back knee. Pressing down into the back shin, knee, and front foot. We root down so that we can rise up and feel that strength and stability in our low body as we rise up, and keeping your gaze just, again, either towards the ground, towards the horizon, rather than looking up to the sky and creating that uplifting energy when we're trying to calm and trying to bring the vata energy down, rooted, grounded a little bit more. Take one more inhale here. And then release the right hand, or sorry, your left hand to your left knee, your front knee, side bending over to the left. So the right arm is reaching over and across to the left, lifting up here. And then from here, hand to the hip, we're going to begin moving into our twist. So your hand just might come to the outside of that front knee, might be forearm or elbow as we twist to our left. Nice breath here. Feeling that stability in the low body, long spine. And then we unwind. Going to lift that back knee and step back into downward facing dog. And you can move through tabletop if you wish. We're going to come forward to plank once again with our little variation of a sun salutation. If you want to stay in full plank a little longer to feel really grounded and rooted, you can. Otherwise, lower the knees, lift up through the shoulders. Draw the belly in. Stay connected with your breath. And then exhale, child's pose without moving your hands, keeping the hands grounded. Sit bones towards the heels, forehead to the mat. Inhale, rise up, cow pose. Curl the toes under, exhale, downward facing dog. Let's go through that series again. Inhale, come forward to plank pose. Exhale, lower the knees. Let's stay here for 3 breaths. Uncurling the toes, pressing the tops of the feet down. One more breath. And on this next breath, let's use our exhale to send the hips back without moving the hands, coming into child's pose. Inhaling up to cow pose, our little back bend, curling the toes under, exhale, downward facing dog. Just taking a couple breaths in your downward facing dog. And then we're going to come back down into child's pose. Taking a couple breaths as you turn yourself into this little seed all curled up with your forehead resting on a block or on your mat. Taking one more breath there. And then we're going to make our way down onto your back. So taking your time getting there, moving slowly. Again, this whole practice is about slowing down and letting go of that hecticness of whatever we have going on in our lives as we get prepared for the busy season of summer for most of us. So once you get on your back, knees are bent. And just take a moment here again to feel all the parts of your body connected with the earth. So you notice this whole practice, we're staying really low, close to the earth, low in our practice, low with our body, a lot of our body connected to that solid surface, to the earth plane. So now we're going to take the right foot and just take the heel to the outside of that left knee. And just pause here. Bring your arms wide, and then slowly with an exhale, we're going to begin to allow the knees to drop over to the left side. And go nice and slow and controlled. And again, this brings a really nice opening into that side body. Bring your awareness to the back of the shoulder blades, the back of the arms, the neck. Maybe you rock your head a little from side to side. And feel all the feels of being supported by that solid surface beneath you. Let your breath flow softly and evenly. And then with your next inhale with control, we're going to slowly bring everything back to center. Pause here in center. And then release that right foot down to the mat. And then let's switch it up for second side. So the left heel just comes to the outside of that right knee. Take a moment here. And then as you exhale, slowly with control, allow everything to drop over towards the right side this time. And you might notice one hip feels different than the other. I know this side feels a lot tighter for me. Be kind to your body. Don't force anything. If you're feeling a lot of tension, you can always put a block under that foot as you lower down if coming all the way to the floor is just too far. Again, soften through the shoulders. Take inventory of what's going on in your body. See where you can soften. See where you're holding, gripping in your body. Is it your belly? Is it your hips, your shoulders, your neck? Just take a little inventory and see where you can soften. And then on your next inhale, slowly come back to center. And then uncross, ground both feet down. And just pause here for a moment. Just noticing, coming to the present moment, coming back to your breath. And then we're going to come into a variation of Happy Baby. We have done this, I think it's been a few weeks now, but we have done this class before. Or this pose, I should say, in this manner. So bringing the left foot, keep the right foot grounded with the knee bent. Bring the left foot as though you're moving into Happy Baby. Now you might just grab the back of your thigh, and we're looking to try to make the foot parallel to the ceiling. You might grab your ankle, or you might grab the sole of your foot. But we're going to slowly begin to draw, as though we're trying to draw the knee to the floor. And don't be in a hurry to get there. Just take your time. Take a few breaths to find your deepest, comfortable variation of this pose. And when you feel like, okay, this is my end point, this is where I'm going to stay, you can decide to keep that right foot bent and grounded here if you wish, or if you want, begin to slowly extend that leg and just let it hover for a moment so you'll feel a little sensation in that hip flexor, particularly if it's tight. And maybe you might begin to lower that heel all the way down and bring that in your mind's eye as though an elephant is standing on that right thigh. So grounding that foot. The elephant in yoga mythology is related to the root chakra. And really when we're feeling anxious and overwhelmed and the nervous system is out of whack, it's really related a lot to the root chakra. And so imagine that weight. My hand is like an elephant foot pressing that thigh back down towards the earth. And if this, with that right leg straight, is too much, just bend the knee and bring the knee back to where we started from. Don't force it. Remember, we're calming the nervous system, not trying to take our nervous system into a state of agitation. Let's take one more breath here with this side. And then slowly release that foot down. Take a nice breath. Bring the other foot so both knees are bent, both feet are grounded, and just pause here. Take a nice big inhale. Exhale out your mouth. A nice big sigh of release. And let's move to our second side. So drawing the right knee in, and again, depending on how tight you are, you might just be holding, this might be your half happy baby pose right here, holding onto the back of your thigh. You might grab your shin or your ankle, or you might grab your foot. And then just slowly let the pose unfold for you as we're energetically moving that knee towards the floor, and the sole of the foot is parallel to the ceiling or to the sky. And take a few breaths to find whatever your edge is. And we're not going past the edge, we're just going to where it's comfortable sensation. Not forcing, again, we want to calm the nervous system. We're not trying to agitate it. And then decide if this left foot is going to stay grounded or if you're going to begin to extend it. And maybe you stay there, or maybe you slowly begin to lower it. And maybe you say, hey, you know what? This is too much. Let's go back to the first variation where the foot is grounded and the knee is bent. Or maybe this is like, wow, this feels really good. This is helping me release all that tension I was holding in my hips. All the frustration that was somehow became embedded into my tissues of the hips and my hip flexors. And then imagine that elephant on that left thigh if you've got that leg straight, grounding and rooting, holding that left leg secure. Bring your awareness back to your breath here. And take one more breath, feeling all that release. And then slowly let that left foot ground down. Draw the right foot ground down, the left foot ground down. And just pause here again. Let's take another breath through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Let's do two more like that. And maybe you even want to stick out your tongue as you sigh it out, like a lion's breath. One more breath like that. Beautiful. And then from here, we're going to move into Shavasana. So I forgot to mention this at the beginning of class, but if you have a blanket that you could lay across your low belly and your pelvis, or even better, if you have a bag of rice that you can use like we do when we had props in class in person, the sandbags that we could lay across here, go ahead and lay that weight, whether it's just the blanket, the weight of the blanket and the warmth of the blanket, or the weight of a sandbag if you have your own, or just a bag of rice. And feel that extra groundedness. Vata is in our low belly and the large intestine, and that just helps us to ground and pacify that vata. The other thing you could also do as you move into your Shavasana is place that sandbag or even a cork block if you have a book on top of your feet and legs up the wall. And that weight on the feet helps to ground the pelvis and gives that sense of rootedness and stability. So choose one of these positions for yourself, either legs up the wall with a weight on your feet or a weight on your pelvis. Either with your legs up, you can have the weight on your pelvis here as well if on your feet's not comfortable. Or traditional Shavasana with a blanket or a weight on the pelvis. And then once again, as you find your way into your final resting pose of those two options, begin to bring your awareness to those contact points of your body that are in contact with that solid surface, the earth plane beneath you. And just notice the sensation of gravity on your heels, on the back of your pelvis, your sacrum, which is also part of Vata. The shoulder blades, the back of the arms, the back of the hands, the back of the head. Feel gravity on all of those contact points. And feel your breath soften, and every exhale, allow yourself to release just a little bit more. Notice where you might be still gripping, and see where you can just let go as you come into stillness. As you come into that connection to your breath once again. And know that for the next 5 minutes, 7 minutes, that you have nowhere else to be. You have nowhere else to go. These next 5 to 7 minutes are just for you. To soften, to be still, to be nowhere but this present moment with this breath. Now, without changing anything in your body, without moving anything, simply bring your awareness, your mind back to the inhale and to the exhale, and that undulation created by the breath in your body. And every time we do this, we help to connect the mind back to the body. And as you begin to connect your awareness to your breath, begin to deepen your breath. And as you deepen your breath, holding on to that sense of relaxation, allow this deepening of the breath to begin to awaken the physical body. And begin to bring gentle movements into fingers and toes. Sliding your heels as you bend the knees so that your feet come to the mat and knees are bent. Feet are grounded, the pelvis is grounded. When you feel ready, roll gently to one side or the other, taking your time to slowly roll, and pause there, using your arm as a rest under your head like a pillow. And when you feel ready, again, eyes closed or very softly focused, begin to press yourself up to a seat. And take whatever seat is appropriate for you, even if that means sitting on a chair, or perhaps that means laying on your back. So take a moment to settle into your new position, whatever that is for you, honoring what your body needs right now. And then reestablish that connection to that earth plane with whatever body parts are now in contact, that are now held by gravity. And if you are seated, begin to allow that rootedness of your low body to allow the spine to lengthen up. And allowing the spine to be long so that the energy can flow from root to crown and from crown to root without causing tension in the muscles, so that the body can be relaxed yet alert. And then we're going to move into alternate nostril breath. So taking your right hand, your pinky and middle finger down towards your palm, and using your ring finger and thumb on the outside of the nostrils. If you prefer, you can also bring your index and middle finger to your forehead, but a little more grounding if we keep it to the palm, towards that marma point that we talked about last week. So just take a moment to breathe through both nostrils. And then slightly blocking your left nostril, inhale through the right nostril. Nice slow breath all the way to the center of the forehead. And just the gentlest of pauses as you switch your fingers and exhale out the left nostril. A very gentle pause at the bottom of your exhale as it switches to the inhale through the left nostril. And then switching to exhale right. This time as you inhale through your right nostril, imagine the whole right side of your body from your root all the way up to your crown, inhaling white light as you pause at the top. And then as you switch and exhale out the left, imagine exhaling out anxiety, worry, fear, frustration. And as we stay here to inhale from the root of the left side body, inhale white healing light all the way up to your crown. And then as we switch nostrils, exhale out irritation, judgment, whatever it is that you have been feeling that you need to let go of. Exhale it out on your breath, out the whole right side body. And then once again, inhaling that healing white light from the root, up that leg, side body, arm, shoulder, right side of your head. And then switch. Exhale out the negativity, out the left side body. Inhale healing white light from the root up to the crown on the left side body. And switch to exhale out the right side body. And continue with that visualization and your alternate nostril breath for several more rounds. Using the exhale to release whatever negativity needs to be released on that side of the body. And using each inhale to inhale healing white light on the inhale nostril side of the body. See if you can complete 2 more rounds of breath like this. And on your own time, as you complete that last breath, release your hand down and just sit and notice. Take inventory once again. Notice your sensations in the body. Notice if your nervous system is perhaps a little calmer, the body a little softer, the thoughts a little slower. And then allowing yourself to come to a regular breath, eyes are still closed. As you inhale, silently say the mantra, I am. And on your exhale, silently repeat peace. Inhaling, I am. Exhaling, peace. Continue on your own for 3 more breaths with the mantra. As you complete those 3 breaths with your mantra, I am peace. Know that any time through your day when you are feeling stressed or overwhelmed or anxious, that you can come back to your breath, come back to that mantra of I am peace, to help bring you back to the space in which you are in right now. Let's bring our hands to our heart center, and actually let's stack our palms over top of the heart center. It has been scientifically proven just placing your hands over your heart can begin to calm the nervous system and begin to bring that sense of peace into the body. And take a deep inhale and exhale out your mouth. And then either out loud or silently take another inhale and Om. Om. And allow that vibration of the Om, whether it's silently in your mind or out loud, to continue to ground and root you and bring you peace, peace, peace. Namaste, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining for your practice today.